So I actually put out like a press release being like, so I'm not dead. And people seemed pretty cool about it. One guy aggressively unsubscribed, but not over that. It was over like the gardening video that we did. He was like, I hate this vegan shit. If this is what you're going to do, I came here for BoxMac. This is not for me. Fuck you all. Like, it was this really crazy thing. I was like, okay, dude, like, we've been doing Junt Around Outdoors forever, just so you know.
It's been years. Winter Moths was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, we were recording their little farts and stuff or whatever we were doing.
He was doing a bunch of disgruntled comments before that too.
Yeah, but he kept. Okay, this is something I've seen before. So because I'm sure you are too, because like we check our phones fairly frequently and stuff. So like we don't miss stuff that comes in. And if you have the YouTube Creator app, and you get the notifications for comments there, if somebody deletes their comment, you still get it, like, and you still can see it. And so like, but it happens more often than you'd think. That somebody leaves some crazy comment that's like really unnecessary, or like you can tell they're drunk or something. And then they either modify it and really soften it, like that you can tell they thought better of it. Like, why the fuck did I send that? Or they delete it outright. And that's what this guy was doing. He was sending these disgruntled comments, then deleting them, then doing it again, then deleting it.
Sometimes it's actually a really good comment and they delete it. And I wanted to respond to a few recently, and I was like, "Oh, that was a good comment. I wanted to respond to," and they delete it. That's so I don't know. But you are right about the disgruntled. I think a bigger share of the disgruntled ones, they think better of it and go back and edit themselves.
It's interesting because you characterize the open internet as this kind of very crazed, who knows who's out there and who knows who's watching, and that, but like when it comes down to it, like people still are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be a dick. I think some people anyway.
And if you're in a real life situation, you probably do that discourse in your head before you actually say something.
It's interesting to watch them do it, where it's like, well, why would I, sometimes it's like weight-based comments where it's like, fuck you, you're gonna die. But and then they're like, well, actually, I'm concerned about you and I love you. So I wrote the script, and I'd been taking notes on my phone for like 9 months with like, oh, and I should mention that too, and I should mention that too. So I ended up like kind of intimidating myself over it, where I was like, man, like, how am I gonna like weave all of this into a giant narrative? But I think I did it. I think I've said everything I meant to say and wanted to say. There's always, I don't know if you've ever run into this, but there's always like, oh yeah, like I got to tell that story, and then this was significant, and I have to make them connect. So it's done. I'd love to do some podcasts after I put this out. So after my kind of like doctoral thesis on it has been released, I'd like to, like, Amy Sater Brown, she lost like 1 billion pounds and does like, she does like CrossFit and stuff like that. Isn't like part of my world. So I'd like to maybe like, that'd be fun to do like with a fan like that. And then Cool Duder, he lost 1 trillion. He lost like 300 pounds, and he's got a huge following too. So that wouldn't be so bad. I bet I could get him to hopefully I could get him to do a chat. So yeah, I was thinking that might be fun to, in terms of low effort stuff that I could get out. And I saw, you probably saw this in the update, but when John came over last to do his walk, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we like kind of, I'm not suggesting like a complete rebrand of BoxMac, but sort of, where like after 160 episodes, we're like, all right, how do you make, because he gave me the idea accidentally. He was like, he said one of the things he's been doing, he realized that the cheese in mac and cheese is really the whole thing. The pasta is almost always bad. So he's like, well, what if you just what if you made mac and cheese, but you only used, a quarter of the pasta and you just put like broccoli in for the rest or something. That's what he's been doing. He says it's pretty good. Like, he makes deluxes that way.
Wow.
And I was like, that'd be a fun thing that sort of thing. I was like, I wonder how, I don't know how long we could do it for, but it'd be fun to be like, I don't know, to kind of like betray the concept in a way and be like, no, all health.
Hey, or at least do like a few or a bunch of episodes about it, because I mean it's on our minds. We're trying to be healthy,
right?
And we also don't want to do a whole day of shooting and feel like
exactly
complete arse.
Yeah, as usual, John was like, don't know how we would do it. We couldn't possibly have an idea or think about it and be creative. Like, God, that fucking guy. Every time you pitch him an idea, he's like, I don't think so. And then you do it. And he's like, that worked out great.
Yeah. Or even like maybe we each come up with like a dish or something, like,
yeah,
that might be kind of fun, and do a healthy dish.
Remember he resisted the fucking, the Utz cheese balls
thing? Oh yeah, like he resisted all the good ideas.
He always ultimately tries. He's like, well, they want me to do it, so I probably should do it. But it's just weird to me that his instinct or his like his pre-programming is like reject. No. He does tries to do it for us. Did you see in the update? I wanted to they got the world's largest arcade. You would come to this too, I bet. They got the world's largest arcade in Laconia, New Hampshire. Fun spot.
Oh, right.
It's like a couple hours away. It'd be fun we do a day trip or 2 days or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That could be fun. We want to do Chuck E. Cheese as a Junt's cart because it's still functioning, and we were surprised to see that, and it's actually pretty good, as I've said in the past. So that's in terms of content, that's what I'll be doing pretty soon.
I've been working on my Super Nintendo video. I've captured.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I've captured all the footage that I wanted to get for the game footage, and I've written half the script, and it's getting long, and but I'm letting it. Like I'm actually not like you were saying, like how I want to tell this story. I'm kind of doing like, fuck it. I'm going to tell that story. I'm going to do that. I'm going to add that in.
Do you think it'll be pretty long? Like you just let it run?
I have a hard time coming up with how long things will actually run. Cause it could be just like 20 minutes.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like, will it end up being like 20 minutes or longer,
Yeah, I mean, usually mine are like around 10 minutes. My guess it's going to be like a half an hour, but we'll see. I'm still halfway through, and like, because I'm doing a top 10 list, and then I came up with honorable mentions. So I wrote some things about honorable mentions, and I do kind of a little bit of a preamble, and then I'm just kind of waxing poetic, because the Super Nintendo, the way I set up the video is that it's like, okay, I'm going to do a top 10 list, but like these games, and I could like just tell you like what's technically good about them and why they're good games and they stand the test of time. Like, but like these games are basically interlinked with my personality. Like I can't make a top 10 list objectively, like, how people would. So it's they're so that's what I'm going to do, is unravel that, is why not just they're good games, but what they mean to me and what they're about. So
I mean, I'd way rather watch that video anyhow. I mean, I don't need to watch anything about Super Mario World, Link to the Past. I probably would watch that video quite happily.
I've watched like 10 Sega Lord X videos that are like,
sometimes I just want to soak in something I already know and love. But yeah, he just did a top 10 Sega Saturn games and at the beginning he was like, just so you know, this isn't going to feature any games just because they're popular. These are my lists, and it's because I fucking love them. So let's get right into
with your friends.
With your friends in the demo for Sega Genesis. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and I've been streaming a little bit too, because
that surprised me. That was great.
Yeah, I on a whim, I kind of set up my computer to stream, and because I was capturing some footage, and I was like, hey, you know what? Well, let's see what happens when I stream it. So I did some Final Fantasy VI, and then I started doing Final Fantasy V, and so I've only streamed twice. Twice. So I did one stream the other day and one stream yesterday, and they actually did pretty good. TV's Gary showed up, which was a surprise. He was like, "Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you since July 4th."
I think he keeps up with like pretty much everything that we do. He's a patron too. He may be listening to this as we speak.
Yeah, and it was really nice.
He lost a ton of weight too. He did some kind of keto or something.
Yeah. I started doing the intermittent fasting a little bit too, and mostly, and actually just kind of by accident, because when I wake up, I'm not hungry anymore, which is strange.
Yeah, we suggested fasting to you. You kind of clapped back at me and John. You were like, "Yeah, I'm good, boys."
Well, I was like, I'm gonna eat when I'm hungry, and I'll keep going. Yeah. But like, I woke up and I wasn't hungry. I was like, oh, I'll just keep going and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I like got to like 10:45, and I was like, I need a cheese snack. But but it was good. I've been doing it for the past couple of days because sometimes I don't know. I just like wake up and I already have energy, and it's probably just because I'm exercising and eating better.